What's up, Indiana? Welcome to Indy Sports Nation right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We've got some breaking news from the Indiana Fever. The Pacers are at NBA best 10-2 in the month of January. And we'll dive into the big game tonight. Purdue versus Indiana. Lots to do. Back show. Thanks for joining. Saddle up. Indy Sports Nation, let's go. Good afternoon. Welcome once again to Indy Sports Nation, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I am your host, Big Mike, coming to you live once again from the great but very gray and dreary city of Indianapolis. Hope your week has been as good as mine. Scratch that. I hope yours has been better. Man, we have a lot to discuss, as we always do. But man, the news coming out of the Indiana Fever camp yesterday and today, I should say. So we'll touch on that. Talk some Pacers, little volleyball, some hoops, and then at the end of the show, we got a special guest to join us to discuss the big game rivalry week, if you will, or part 1 of 2, I should say, when it comes to college hoops. IU Purdue in West Lafayette tonight. So we'll dedicate the back half of the show to discuss this big matchup tonight. But before we get into all that, you know the drill. We got to give love to our great sponsors, Planet Jerky, Vital Apparel, Seal the Deal Wax Seals. We've also got Raw Nutrition. Don't have their video just yet, but give them a little bit of love on the other side. So thank you once again for taking the time out of your busy day to join me, whether it's live here or on the replay. I appreciate it so very much. So let's get these bills paid, and we will jump into some hoops on the other side. Welcome once again, Indy Sports Nation, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clinking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, Take part in your iron therapy and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, welcome back. Hope you're able to go check out the IE Sports Radio site. Go get some good swag, if you will. Much appreciate that. Quick shout out to our newest sponsor, Raw Nutrition Supplements. GetRawNutrition.com. Use the promo code IESR. Get your 10% off. Appreciate you very much for doing that. And hit me up on the old X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Show page at IndySports_IESR. Or you can always follow the old personal account at The Chill Mike. Oh, love to interact with you guys there, especially if you're not able to catch the show live, but watch on the replay. Feel free to hit me up. Keep it sports, keep it PG. All I'm asking is just like we do here live. Keep them PG, sports related. That's it. Not hard. Taryn already checking in. Have an amazing show. Appreciate you, Taryn, very much. We've already got a Hoosiers guy in here, so this ought to be interesting. So if you're, we're going to get to that at the end of the show, but for those of you who are watching live, I would love if you're into this rivalry at all. I want to hear who you're for and, why. And it could be just something as simple as, I went to school there. Cool. That makes total sense. But I want to hear, like, if it's a family that kind of raised you that way, or if you just kind of like how to come about. Would love to hear from you on that. But in the meantime, let's chat some Fever because there's some news that came out of Indiana Fever camp. So let's start with Kelsey Mitchell coming back for another year. And I had mentioned this, I believe, last week, and I know I mentioned it weeks prior, that this was a big number one on the to-do list. I think would be the best way to put it for the Indiana Fever. They really wanted her back. Had a great season last year, averaging just under 20 a game, and just a great compliment to Caitlin. In my estimation, or in my opinion, I guess. I know there was some people speculating this. She may not. She may go out and see what's best for her, and that's fair. Her home is Cincinnati, so not terribly far from here. It still felt like she was going to come back. Maybe it's just my own, hopefulness and optimism, whatever. But that's a good get. Now it's again, I touched on it last week. It's that what they call a court offer. It's almost like a tag, but it's not. She could have said no, but she is coming back for it is a 1-year deal, so the Fever can do this again in 2026 if they ought to. After that, it could get a little dicey because we're talking new bargaining in 27. So, we'll see. But it feels like this team's starting to put some stuff together to make a run because, as you may be watching live on the ticker here, they're going to make this official tomorrow, but they're going to sign Natasha Howard tomorrow, I believe, is where they can start making these things official. This broke earlier today. So Howard was drafted by the Fever back in, I believe it was 2015. And she's been a little bit of a journeyman woman ever since, but had a great year with the Wings last year. She's made a couple All-Star appearances, was voted Defensive Player of the Year a few years back. So this will improve this team defensively, I think. And with Stephanie White coming in, or I should say coming back, I guess, but coming in as the head coach, I like this grab. I really, really do. I think this is going to help this team defensively because they did struggle in that aspect, especially even when they got the run the second half of the year, they still struggle a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. So, excuse me. So I'm looking forward to this. I like this offseason so far, even though the whole Christy Sides firing was yikes. I mean, that's just tough business, but unfortunately, what sport isn't when it comes to coaching? It's just kind of what it is. It's not always pretty, unfortunately. So with that, also the news came out that the team will be doing a preseason game against the Brazilian national team in Carver in Iowa. Gee, you wonder why they're going there. But I'm not even sure when tickets will go on sale for that, but it's going to sell out in about 5 seconds. The only place where there's more Indiana Fever fans, I think, than here is Iowa. So, and again, we all know why that is. So, good stuff coming out from Fever Camp this week, or these past couple days, I should say. So, season's still a ways off, but again, something to kind of get excited about, something to look forward to. So, I'm really excited about the Fever season, even though it's still a ways off. But some good news coming out of Fever Camp, no doubt about it. George Chamonin sends defensive help coming, and thank God Kelsey's here to stay. Well, she's here for another year at least. So, but yes, I agree with you 100%. We needed her back without a doubt, and getting defensive help is something this team needs. Goes without saying. I got another one here. Julie checking in, born and raised Hoosiers, and my family from many generations. That's just how it is. Hey, that's cool. That's what I want. That's all good. That's why I want to hear, man. It's just what makes these rivalries fun, right? So, but with that said, let's jump in. Let's jump into some Pacers talk here. So last time we were talking, they had just we didn't even talk about the first game in Paris because it was so bad. It was one of the good old 30-point blowout. Who doesn't love those? So obviously, Pacers were just hoping to get out of there with a split, and they did with a 136-98 whooping. So I kind of almost feel bad for the fans a little bit. I mean, just because as a fan myself, you kind of hope you're going to see a couple of games they would be competitive, and really neither one of these games were competitive. I mean, 30-point blowouts on both sides. The Spurs get one, then the Pacers return the favor. So good win for them. I mean, good win for the Pacers, obviously, to get out there with a split. I mean, we knew Wemby was going to have his moment there, and it's good for him. I mean, that's very cool to be able to go back to your home country and do that. But Was really hoping the Pacers would get the first one, but doesn't matter. They salvaged a split and got out of there and came home to play Detroit. And oh boy, what a I hardly even know where to start with this game, honestly. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, you know where I'm going to go with this, right? I'm pretty sure Isaiah Stewart was just put in there just to punch somebody. I don't know, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong here, or if you think I'm wrong, it's cool. That dude's a clown. I'm sorry. I mean, comes in and I don't even know what that was. It was almost like a hockey check / wannabe punt. I don't even know. It was just both. It was stupid, just stupid. If you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. It was against Thomas Bryant. I'm pretty sure Bryant was ready to murder him on sight. That's too strong of a word. I'm sorry, but you know that you get what I mean there. It was just they had to took several guys to hold Bryant back for good reason. I mean, I don't even know what that was. And then, of course, the old, he gets ejected. They review it. It's obviously a flagrant 2. He's out of the game. And then he's making these, pistol things, gunshots with his hand on the way out. Like, I don't even know what that was. I mean, I've not heard or have seen any suspension coming. There probably should be in my eyes. That's just a clown show, which is unfortunate because Detroit, hasn't had a whole lot to talk about in recent years, but they're actually having I would say a respectable year, I guess. I mean, they have the injury to Ivy, which has not been good for them, but I don't know. It kind of felt like a rivalry renewed, but then I'm just kind of like, I don't really want to go there yet. I mean, Pacers get the season series as a result of the win. That's great. And the Pacers remain 5th in the East, just a half game out of that 4 spot with Milwaukee. So that's will be interesting to see how that goes the rest of the year. I'm more of as a Pacers guy. I still feel like if there's a rivalry, it's still with Milwaukee right now. Not that I wouldn't mind to see the whole thing with Detroit renewed, but look, I don't want to. I don't want it to get to the point where we're talking Malice at the Palace type crap. You know what I mean? I don't want it to get there. Like, give me a good rivalry, give me some chippiness. I'm good with that. I am. I don't want to see. I don't want to see to that point. I mean, we've all seen it online. There's fans on both sides, but I'm going to be biased here and say, especially on the Piston side, who are really trying to reach for this and saying some pretty dumb things online and coming after say it's insane. Just stop doing that, people. Just stop. It's just dumb. Anyway, Siakam let 37 points. What a night for Siakam. I should now stay the 3-time All-Star Siakam. So congratulations to him. That is much deserved. He has been steady all season long. That's not to show any hate on Halliburton because he dropped 30. But when the injuries happened earlier in the year, he was kind of trying to do too much, I think. And, we wasn't sure what was up with his back and this, that, and the other. So, Siakam's been pretty constant the entire year. So kudos to him. He deserves it. And I want to make this point, too, about the Pacers. And I think some of us have already forgotten. Although I did touch on it last week with my guest, George, who was here. This team started 10-15. And now we're up to 26-20. And hopefully, and we'll see what happens Saturday, but they tip off at 5 p.m. on Saturday. So I will be there, by the way. So hopefully my Indy friends are able to make it to come say hi if so. But which you hope. I mean, Atlanta, I wouldn't call them a pushover, but they're like 4 games under 500, I believe. So hopefully you can get another one there. And they're talking 7 games over 500 from being 5 under. So it's been a nice turnaround. Obviously, the Pacers are getting healthy, which helps tremendously. And now we're caught up on the deadline. We've discussed this, and of course there was okay. And second of all, we need to stop this too about Miles Turner. So whoever these trolls are on, on X or whatever, trying to suggest that the Pacers are going to trade him or something like that, y'all just need to stop. I mean, you're just reaching. I saw one the other day. It's like, you've all seen these, right? Who says no to this trade? And then you see the dumbest thing you maybe have ever seen. It was like, some Lakers dude was like, oh, well, we'll give up Davis and oh, by the way, you'll give us Turner. We'll give you that. We'll give you Davis, an 84 Cutlass, and a pack of now-and-laters. We'll take Turner and like 5 draft picks. It's like, are you drunk? So I'm over it. Just stop doing that. It's happening in all sports. I get it, but just please stop. Like, he's not going anywhere. I mean, you'd have to. It would be the trade of all trades because basically I would be saying, hey, you're giving us pretty much half your franchise, and we're going to make a run right now to try to knock off Cleveland or Boston. It's not happening. So just stop with that. So some more comments coming in. My boy Ralph saying have an awesome show and how he loves the shirt. So appreciate that. George mentioning the Legos because the Pistons players were teasing about the Legos and whatnot. Miles Turner's a big Lego guy for whatever it's worth to y'all. Here's the thing: who cares? Who doesn't love Legos? Seriously, unless you step on them, then you might be a little bit annoyed. But otherwise, who sit there? Who says that? Like, what are we doing? Taryn, yes, we all remember Mouse at the Palace. Yes, we do. I've teased about doing a little show on that. I still may have to do that at some point. Casey chiming in. Draft picks from 2067 for Miles. It's just fantastic. Just fantastic. Yeah, so there was also another thing with the Pistons Pacers game with Beasley bumping into Turner. Turner kind of grabbed him, and everybody's flipping out over it. And again, I love the chippiness. I really, really do. But we don't need to get too carried away here until, I don't know. Like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing that rivalry build back up, but Pistons got to get back to the playoffs first, and I think then maybe we can see where it goes from there. But anyway, I put the little bow on the Pacers. Like I said, they got the Hawks coming up here on Saturday, and that's going to be then they go to road trip, four-game road trip out west. And the last one was good. We'll see how this one goes. So home with the Hawks and off to visit Utah, then Portland, the Clippers. So we'll see. Hopefully this West Coast swing goes as good as the last one. So on that note, we got to get our first quick break in here, and we'll get that done. And on the other side, we'll talk a little Indy Ignite, talk a little bit of college hoops before we get into the big game that is tonight. IU and Purdue. So again, please share your where it came from, how you became a fan, and let's just have a little fun with the rivalry. Why not? So quick break and back to it on the other side. So thanks for joining me here, Indy Sports Nation, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Be right back.
What's up, Pittsburgh? This is Ralph Galise, the host of the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Are you that passionate diehard Steelers, Penguins, Pirates, or just a Pittsburgh sports fan? Then please join me on the Injury Report every Tuesday on IE Sports Radio, the direct feed for all that is sports, and I will update you on all that's black and gold. Have you telling your Pittsburgh fans and friends what's up with Pittsburgh sports. Tune in Tuesday with me, Ralph Galise, the User Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go!
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA to the grand slams of the MLB to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL and to the booming kicks of the MLS, the SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you once again so very much. Keep hitting me up on the comments. Much appreciated. Let's see here. I think George has chimed in here. I'm a fan of the team with the banners because when I moved here a few years back, I randomly decided they were the Indiana sports team I wanted to be hurt by. Well, their football didn't hurt you. So at least you got that for you, I guess. Yeah, we'll talk. We have a guest coming on here in a bit, so we will we'll chat more about that. I mean, IU, it's just, I've said this on the show a million times. It's good it's better when they're doing well, even if the fan base can be insufferable at times. But listen, everybody has that in their fan base, right? But it's just not. We'll see. We'll see what happens tonight. I'm excited to have the guest on and kind of dive into this matchup because I do think it's going to be closer tonight than some experts think. But we'll see. We'll see how this shakes out. Before we dive into all of that, ending night, it's still been a great start to the season. Started 3-0, took their first loss last weekend, I should say. Against San Diego. San Diego's a solid squad. It's a good start for the Ignite. Got up 25-18 and or actually won the first set 25-18. Dropped the second on 25-17. Okay, we got a battle. And then that third set was a battle. It was an absolute battle. Unfortunately, it went to San Diego's way, 30-28. And then it kind of fell. Going back and watching that, just kind of took a little bit of the wind out of the sails from the Indy Ignite and just quite couldn't get over the hump. Although they battled. It wasn't like they just got rolled. I mean, it's a 25-19, so it was a sound win for San Diego. Good San Diego team. Can't get totally mad about it. Just just kind of how it goes. But another big match tonight. In Vegas. That's actually going to be on YouTube TV. So that'll be about 10 o'clock. So right after the Indiana-Purdue game, you can go on YouTube TV and check them out. So the tough matchup for the Ignite. We'll kind of see how this shakes out. So this will end their road trip before they come back home on Sunday, 6 p.m. against the Columbus Fury, which, if you recall from a few weeks back, they had this crazy 5-setter that they won in Columbus. So that should be a great matchup. I'm sure Columbus is going to come in with a chip on their shoulder. No doubt about that. That game is actually going to be on FS2. If you can, I should say if you can believe that. I love that. I noticed, scrolled past it the other day, and I think it was Vegas, Orlando on FS2. So I do love these leagues. We're starting to get some real airtime and real attention to a very energetic atmosphere at these games and just a growing sport. So you love to see that. So again, we'll see how that shakes out tonight, 10 p.m. against Vegas. And then 6 o'clock home game Sunday. So best of luck to our ladies. So we will move on. Let's get into some little love for the Irish here. We won't do the bright green. I was getting complaints on that. So, but anyway, man, it's been great for the Notre Dame men to get Burton back. He, as I mentioned earlier, when I say earlier, it's been several weeks back. He was freshman of the year last year. Getting him back and healthy and back in the groove for Notre Dame has actually helped them. Now, granted, I'm not sitting here trying to blow smoke and say they're going to make this crazy run and win an ACC championship or something like that. That's not what I'm talking about here. But winners are 3 out of 4 and back up to 500. So they're at least trying to build onto something here, which you like to see, right? Close home win the other night against Georgia Tech, but it's not a great Georgia Tech team, but they lost to them earlier. So take the win. They've got Florida State on the road next Tuesday, and then before they come back to Virginia Tech. So they've got some winnable games. Boston College to follow before they play number 21 Louisville at home. So they've got some games here they can win. I'm not saying they will, but I think these are winnable. Put it that way, and especially with the way they've been shooting from three. They've been shooting just over 41%, which I believe is top 3 in the ACC. So now, granted, they need a little bit more than that, and they can't just rely on that. Obviously, we've seen teams who do just rely on that, and it is what it is. But so kudos to the men for trying to make a little small turnaround here. We'll see if they can make that continue. On the other side, the women just continue to roll. I'll go with another 30-point night. She is just on a freaking another level. Miles with 15. Hidalgo was 10 of 16 from the field, 3 of 7 from the 3-point range. Carled off the bench with 12. It proves Notre Dame to 18-2 on the season and a number 3 ranking in the country. So as I said at the beginning of the year, like we did the preview on them, this is a Final Four squad, or it should be a Final Four squad. And we'll see how March rolls around, and because we know how it goes in March, upsets, and you get put in a bracket, and and catch somebody high. Who knows? That's what's so great about March, right? But continue to roll, continue to do great things. Very, very fun team to watch. If you have not watched them, I would strongly recommend you check them out. So they've got Sunday coming up. They've got Louisville. That's on the road, followed by a home game against Stanford. And then the next big one's going to be California. It's coming in to play Notre Dame. So it's in South Bend, and I think they're doing a pink deal or something like that for Valentine's or something like that. But so, again, some winnable games here for them. So I expect this team to continue to roll. So with that being said, we'll move on real quick and touch on Butler here. Maybe got a few more comments. George continuing his trash talk about Purdue. Well, they weren't upset last March, buddy. Kind of rolled to the national championship game where they lost to just a better UConn team. And IU's been upset plenty of times in the tournament. You can do your little research on that, I promise. Trust me, somebody's followed IU and Purdue both for a while. They've both been upset. So, but real quick, let's touch on Butler before we get our last break in, and let's talk IU Purdue. Look, I mean, again, it's one of those years, and they got a nice win against DePaul, which again, DePaul, start with the men. It's just that's a game. Yes, you expect to win because DePaul is right there, kind of with you. They're actually last in the Big East. A 1-10 record conference play. So Butler does get a conference win, but then they turn around and lose to Marquette, which again, you're not going to get. I mean, that's not what I would call a bad loss. I mean, it's a top 10 team in Marquette. It kept them close somewhat. But again, there's just not enough there in the arsenal. Just kind of run over a quick few stats here real quick. I mean, Telfair had a game, but then Brooks gets isolated again, only has 9 points. Telfair gets 24, great. McCaffrey with 12. Nothing much off the bench. It's just not there. And unfortunately, we got to say the same for the women right now as well, because their season, although started off a little bit better, right? I mean, they actually won. I mean, I could argue their out of conference schedule might have been a little bit lighter I mean, depends on who you ask, I suppose. But another loss to DePaul again. I mean, they got rolled by Seton Hall. So they've lost 4 straight now. They got a win over Georgetown, but they're still not bottom third of the Big East, 12-11 record. Just not a ton of additional production, I guess. That's probably the best way I can put it. They're just not, you're getting McGuff and Zenstra. That's about it. So it's kind of the same recipe with the men and the women. You got a couple players, and you're just not able to get everybody at the, contributing, everybody doing their job night in and night out. And whether it's coaching or it's talent, a little bit of both. It's it's kind of hard to say. It's going to be interesting with the men though, with Thad Matta. I mean, Thad Matta's had a pretty good rate of success over his career, and it does appear that his recruiting class, not so much transfer portal stuff, but a recruiting class coming in does look pretty promising. So that'll be interesting to see what Butler decides to do. If they decide to, okay, we'll keep rolling with you, Thad, because we have a history and all that good stuff, or if they're just going to say, heck with it, we're going to start over. If the recruiting class is as good as they say it is, I don't know that you let them go, because we all know what happens, right? I mean, coach leaves and all of a sudden these kids will be like, yeah, no, I'm out. I'm going somewhere else. I'm going to do this. Transfer portal, and it's all different now. So, we'll see what they decide to do. Because I think it's safe to say this team is. I don't think they're going anywhere. Unfortunately, it's tough to. It's kind of tough to watch. But oh my God, chiming in here. Is Richardson the answer in Indy? You know what? TBD. To be determined on that one. We haven't spoken on the Colts on this episode, and just because obviously the season's over been over for the Colts for a while. But TBD on that. We're going to see. This is his real quick. I'll just kind of dive into this briefly. He's working with Josh Allen's throwing coach this offseason. This will be his first real offseason where he can get real work in, and he's not rehabbing. So, there's some hope for optimism there. But we'll see. It's I think the Colts got to give a tight end. Now, some would argue, well, Mike's got to learn to throw the tight end. Yes. So, but I think he needs a little bit more help there. He needs a safety valve, if you will. So, this offseason is going to be big for him, no doubt about it. And we'll see how he looks coming to the training camp. There's been talk that they'll bring in another guy who could potentially be a starter, which I think is a good idea. So TBD on that, my friend. So on that note, we're going to get our last break in before we bring in our special guest, and it's going to be all IU and Purdue the rest of the way. So keep those comments coming in. Still want to hear more about the, which side are you on in this rivalry? How did you get there? All that good stuff. So last break, we'll get to on the other side. We'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daryl Kinsey Jr., and I'm welcoming you to take another lap with the fastest show on IE Sports Radio. Yes, this is the Extra Mile with me and my co-hosts Christopher Lehman and Michael Ward. We talk everything racing from NASCAR to IndyCar to Formula One to limited hydroplanes, endurance racing, the NHRA, and more. So come join us for an hour of great racing talk and a lot of fun as well on the Extra Mile, Thursdays at 8 p.m. only on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey sports fans, are you in the market for Florida sports or just keeping up with the latest in the Panhandle? Palm Tree Sports is a dedicated audio hub to all things sports in the Sunshine State. We cover current events, big news, heavily favored opinions all across the NFL, NBA, MLB, and so much more. So come check us out every Saturday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a down south education on Florida sports and athletics, It's hosted by yours truly, Corey Pujols, and is powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, welcome back. Keep those comments coming in, everybody. Really enjoy the interaction. So without further ado, let's welcome him back, my buddy Craig, my IU guru. Craig, how the heck are you, buddy?
Man, I'm doing good. How are you doing today, Mike?
Cannot complain. We get round 1 of 2 tonight.
Yes,
up in
sir.
West Lafayette this evening. So before we dive into that, I just want to ask you a real quick question regarding IU. Can you tell me what the bleep that was on Sunday against Maryland?
Yeah, that was not pretty. I think when that buzzer sounded, I said unbelievable. There was just so many mistakes at the end there. And I don't know. I had one question was running through my mind was like, why? And I understand. I know Galloway I like Trey Galloway, but in that type of situation, where it's a tight game, you want to have some of your best free throw shooters on the floor at that point. And Trey's only shooting like 65% from the line this year, so that obviously the missed free throw. And again, they gave up the 2 big buckets, obviously, to Maryland there in the closing seconds. But it's just, again, you got a lot of guys that are getting this NIL money, a lot of talent that's cobbled together, and they can't seem to get it together as a team. And I think that was those closing seconds against Maryland that really kind of highlighted that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you, man. I was watching that game and I was thoroughly entertained with the first half. A lot of good back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, this is a fun game. And then the second half was like, okay, it's more of the same. And then I just kind of felt like to me, especially about 3 minutes or so to go, I was like, I think IU's got this.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I stepped away for a second. I'm like, I think IU's gonna handle this. And then next thing I know, come in, I'm like, wait, what just happened here? This is that end of the game with the substitution and the play they tried to execute, and then Woodson basically going out and saying we just didn't execute it. The players are saying we were confused. Like this was just an unfortunate mess, and it unfortunately cost them yet another game that would have looked halfway decent on a tournament resume. Yeah,
absolutely. And I mean, yeah, it's just, when players, like, if they don't know what to do in that situation, I mean, that's not good. That's, what did the coach, I mean, obviously the coaches can't play, right? But, they have to make sure their guys are prepared in that type of situation. And it just, all the frustrations just kind of like, it just, in terms of just with that loss. And then, you're destroyed by Illinois at home, which that was like, I've never seen anything more baffling than, I mean, that's just horrible.
That was awful.
Yeah. And then you lose again against Northwestern. Woodson is 0-5 against Northwestern. I mean, it just is not pretty. So, it's, once again, I mean, here they are, they're kind of like, if you're gonna, I guess, be nice about it, you could say they're a fringe NCAA tournament team at the moment. You got 10 games left, but right now, I mean, they're these next few, 4 or 5 opponents they're pretty tough right now. So it's I'm trying to remain optimistic, obviously as an IU fan, but it's gonna, we're gonna see whether they make the tournament here over these next 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, and here's the thing, and I've been on this show, and I think I've talked to you about it, and I've talked to several others. I've been a little bit hard on IU this year, and it's because part of me is just an state of Indiana guy. Right. I want them to be good. It makes this just more fun when they're playing well. And they've got all this talent on this team, and that's why I think this year, I don't want to go as far as saying the most, but definitely one of the most, I think, disappointing teams, just because of all this level of talent, yet they just can't seem to find a way to bring it all together. And if they ever did, and to your point, if they started tonight, for example, and gotta win tonight and go to Wisconsin, get a win there, and then beat Michigan, all of a sudden there's some quad one wins that they desperately need.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, tonight would be no better night to try to at least, they got to get a win. And I would hope that tonight they play with some really good effort. Because you're right, they have to get this win tonight. And like I said, I'm hoping that hopefully they can kind of string together some wins here. But tonight's going to be a monumental task, as we know, against number 11 Purdue.
Yeah, it's going to be the environment's going to be crazy.
Absolutely.
But you know what, though? What I always say about rivalry games, in a lot of cases, you can just throw numbers and junk just out the window.
That's right.
Right. Not every time, obviously, because we know what happened in football this year. But look, I mean, it was just 2 years ago where nobody thought IU was going to go in and beat Purdue at Mackey, and they did, and they ended up beating them twice that year. Now Purdue returned the favor last year. So to me, it's like you got to throw it all out the door or out the window, or whatever, and just whoever grinds hardest tonight, whoever wants it most tonight, will probably end up winning the game. So, but let's dive into a little bit of X's and O's here. I think I know the answer to this, but I wanted to get your opinion on it. For IU to be successful tonight, or at least put themselves in a position to be successful, give me a thing or two that IU has to do tonight.
So, and I've got some keys here as to what IU has to do in order to pull off this upset. So, right at the top of my list, actually, there's two guys that have to play very well. Obviously, Ballo has to dominate tonight.
Yes.
Purdue has no one that can match up with him physically. And so, I mean, Ballo's going to have to dominate. And he's got to throw his body around in there. And the same would also be for Mbako. Mbako's got to, he's got to play well tonight. I mean, those two in particular have to have a huge night just for IU to kind of hang around and just kind of be in this game. And I will also say, a third guy that you probably could maybe kind of factor into is good. Purdue is they've had a couple of games where they've had a couple of sharpshooters kind of burn them a little bit. So, I mean, if for somehow he can kind of get that 3-point shot going tonight, I mean, that would really help.
Yeah, if he can get good, he's some looks and he gets hot.
Yeah.
I think personally, I'm with you. I think it starts down low. Ballo's got to have a good night. They've got to get some good offensive rebounding as well, in my eyes. Get some second, maybe even third chance points, just solely for the fact that what was the last time you could say that IU had a size advantage down low when it comes to playing Purdue?
Yeah, that's been a while. Been a while. They didn't. Obviously we kind of know with Edie last year, obviously, but
right.
But it's been a while. It's been a while since they've had this size advantage.
Yeah, it's always kind of been the guard play. For me, a few years ago, of course, you had TJD and Hood and Shafir and whatnot who balled out, and Mackey that year, and I think it might take something like that again to happen for IU to be successful. But again, hey, that's why we play these games, right? It's why they're rivalry games. You just truly never know. But see, the spread is 12.5 on that. Are you taking IU to cover on that?
Ooh, yeah. That sounds about right. It could, depending on how IU can play in this game. The other thing I had is, IU, they have to defend the three better. I mean, just going back to the last two games, Maryland and Northwestern, both of them combined to hit 49% from three. That's not going to. That's unacceptable.
Right.
And Purdue does it. they don't take too many threes, but they can still hit them, with efficiency. So they have to defend the three better. And then I think the other thing, what Purdue does very well defensively is they force a lot of turnovers, and they get a lot of points off turnovers, and obviously extra possessions as well. So they got to do a good job of protecting the ball tonight. They cannot turn the ball over. If they do, this thing's going to get out of hand very quickly.
Yeah, I'll add in a few things from the Purdue side of it too. And just if I'm an IU fan looking at this and I see someone like Fletcher Lawyer having 15 points in the first half, chances are probably 3 of those at least are from 3. And he's getting open looks and he's making them. That's usually a bad sign for an opponent, because typically when he's making shots, that's Braden Smith is setting him up. That means Braden's doing his thing, so their guard plays coming out with a big advantage there. So that's one thing kind of be cautious about. If not, different story, right? So we'll see how that shakes out there. And Caleb First from Purdue is probably from a Purdue perspective might be an X factor tonight for the Boilers, just because their defense has stepped up as of late. They've gotten a lot scrappier, and he's kind of gotten in and he's done some of that dirty work down low, which they're going to need, because obviously, Balo's a beast. So he's going to have to get some position and get some block out, and maybe somehow from a Purdue perspective you get him in foul trouble, and so I mean it's just a lot of moving parts, a lot of what ifs, what have you. But I'm gonna call it right now, man. I don't know why. I think IU might cover tonight.
They might. I mean, anything. I mean, we'll talk about this. This is, when you look at college basketball, this is really one of the better rivalries in all of college basketball. And anything can happen.
Yes.
Like I said, and with that said, I mean, we know Purdue has won the last 15 of the last 20 or 19 meetings. But like you said, I mean, anything can happen. And I would just hope that, the Indiana players just know, like, okay, hey, it's obviously, I mean, they've lost last 4 or 5, but they've got a chance here to really kind of turn things around. I mean, you got 10 games left. You're not, I mean, they're not out of it. But they obviously have to turn it around starting tonight. So, and like I said, no better time, no better night than to do it tonight. So.
Well, I'm glad you touched on the rivalry piece, because just for some people who listen from out of market, just want to give a little bit of a background here. These fan bases do not like each other one bit. Although Craig and I are the exception, we like each other, so we're cool. Just in the grand scheme of things, there's always exceptions, right? But for the series history, it's a 127-92 advantage for Purdue as of today. At Mackey, it's much more lopsided, as you can imagine, but it's also lopsided at Assembly Hall, so that makes sense. Current win streak is only 2. So Purdue swept last year, IU swept the year before. And then the longest winning streak in the entire rivalry was IU. They went back in before we were born, way before we were born. Back in from 49 to 55, IU won 13 straight.
Wow.
So, but here's the one thing that goes, I think, advantage on the surface. A lot of people are picking Purdue. I get it. But here's an interesting stat I came across the other day, because we were touching earlier about quad 1 wins, right? Because we got to come up with a new term for something every year, it feels like. Mike Woodson is 16-36 in the 4 years when he gets quote unquote quad 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Painter is 45-19.
Wow.
I didn't realize that. I came across that today. I was like, wow. I knew.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. It's big, but like I said, tonight would be the best for multiple reasons. Quad 1 win that IU could get in quite some time, just because obviously it's a rivalry game, and to me that would just it would give that team some confidence that I feel like they're lacking, and wrap them up, and because then they're going to Madison after this, and that's Madison. When's the last time they won in Madison? Was it like the Reagan administration or something stupid? It's been forever.
Something like that, yeah. They just seem. I mean, it just with some of the Big Ten schools, they just seem to be. I can't put my finger on it. I mean, just especially Northwestern 1-5. From there, and they always have problems, with like Iowa and just, Wisconsin. So I just not quite sure what to make of that. But like I said, I mean, it's just like I'm reading the comment there. Yeah, the only thing that may save Woodson, or at least get maybe put pitchforks up maybe for a week or so is getting a win.
I don't even think the fans will even give him credit. They'll be like, "Hey, those players finally just showed up and played ball together for once." But who knows? Because to your point, I mean, it's going to be a tough route for IU the rest of the way. I mean, even if they were able to get a win tonight, which would be huge for them this year, obviously. But then they have Wisconsin and have Michigan, and you've got a pretty tough gauntlet coming in. And to me, even if they win, I think I saw somebody say if they went 500 the rest of the way, they might make the tournament. And I would argue if they do, I think they have to go more than 500. They got to win at least 2 of these next 3 because they're going to need. They have to have some of those good wins because, quite frankly, let's be honest, it was not a tough non-conference schedule for them at all.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't that tough at all. So, I mean, and I think we may have touched on it prior, but I mean, they needed to have somewhat of a good start here, and this month in particular, just as they've been downhill, and like I said, I mean they have to find a way to fight back and to try to get back into this thing because like I said, I mean if they don't at least win these next 2 or 3, the only Hail Mary they're going to have really is the Big Ten tournament, and that's a
thing.
So.
All right, so a couple more quick things. I can't believe we're almost up on the hour. This just flew by. That it always does, but I appreciate you making the time for me, my friend. If, let's just say as an example, this thing goes off the rails, some are already saying it has. I'm not going that far yet, but I would imagine come the day after the final day of the season, Mike Woodson will no longer be the head coach. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think based on just the fact that it's Mike Woodson, I don't think that they would actually fire him. I think they would ask him to probably step down. Then you'll probably look at it and you'll see that he may have just, okay, I retired, And I only say that just because it's Mike Woodson. So
and there's the Clint Buckner thing there at the trustees.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. So, but again, when you have a guy that is from their past and from pretty much the Bob Knight era, it's difficult when things go south, and so it's again, I mean, unless they turn things around, I mean, I just can't see Woodson surviving this after this year.
I 100% agree. I mean, not that I'm abdicating I hate people losing their job, but I 100% agree. So, all right, man. Last thing, give me a score prediction for tonight.
Let's see.
And you can be biased, man. We know who you're rooting for, man. It's all good. It's all good. Let's go.
I think Purdue probably. I'll say Purdue 92, Indiana 81.
Okay.
I think Indiana. I mean, maybe they'll make it a little bit more closer than what we think, but I think in the end, Purdue will probably pull it out.
Yeah, I agree with you. I tend to think the score might be a little bit lower, but I think it's going to be closer than what a lot of people think.
Yeah.
So I could see more of a 79-70 type of thing, something like that. But hey, again, rivalry. Who knows?
Right. Never know.
We're here for it. Tip off in 2 hours, man. I cannot wait for it. But okay, so I do have one more question for you before I let you run, buddy. How's that puppy of yours?
Oh man, puppy's doing good. I've got my battle scars on my hands. he's getting bigger. I think he's up to about 25 pounds already. So
all right.
Yeah, so we just we're just looking to kind of get him into some obedience training and all that. So, but no, he's doing great.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
love to hear it, man. Well, Craig, I'll let you get back to it. Enjoy the game tonight.
All right.
I hope it's a good competitive game, and thanks for making the time to join me, buddy. Much appreciated.
Yeah, man. Anytime.
All right, appreciate you, buddy. Yeah, we'll see you soon, my man.
All right, take care.
You too. All right, so appreciate Craig jumping on and doing that. So I got one more thing to touch on before we call it a day. So I teased earlier, we got a little special announcement, if you will. So IE Sports Radio is doing a pretty cool thing come Super Bowl Sunday. Little partnership we have going. I won't bore you with all those details, but from 10 o'clock Eastern time, mind you, Super Bowl Sunday, from 10 o'clock Eastern time, so I believe it's 5 or 5:30. You need to double check that. I think it might be 5:30. Again, Eastern time. We will be on the air that entire time leading up to Super Bowl. This is super cool. I think one of the first times we've done something like this. So I'm asking is find us on the socials, find us on YouTube, IE Sports Radio, and just tune in for the day, do your things, do your prep, do whatever you do for Super Bowl Sunday. But during all this, it'll start with our boss man, the CEO, Larry B. He'll do his thing, and then he'll kind of end it as well. But in between all that, we got a handful of hosts from this great platform that I call the IE Sports Radio family, who will also be doing some live shows. And that's where your boy comes in, because yes, yours truly will be doing a show on Super Bowl Sunday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern time. I'm really excited about it. This is just a pretty early venture for me in this radio/pod thing, if you will, and be able to do a show on Super Bowl Sunday is pretty freaking cool. So really excited about it. We've got a couple guests already lined up. So obviously we're going to talk the game, but we're going to get into some fun stuff too. Talk some old school Super Bowl commercials, some of your favorite Super Bowl moments, whether it was with your team being in it or maybe not so much. Going to be very, very interactive. Cannot wait I just can't wait. I'm really, really excited about it. There'll be more information that comes out on the socials and what have you. So hope you can make some time. Again, 1 p.m., 2 p.m. Eastern time is when your boy Big Mike will be on the air. Going live. Cannot wait. Hope you can join. It should be before you get too crazy on your Super Bowl Sunday. So we'll be done by 2 o'clock. Of course, you got to keep that, got to keep the YouTube thing going, man, because we got guys and gals going all day long. So we are really, really excited for it. Cannot wait for you to join. Couple last comments from Casey. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it. George, appreciate you too, brother. Really excited. So like I said, more to come on that. But again, super, super stoked. So on that note, and of course, you'll see me here next Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern time, as you always do. So it'll be 2 shows for us next week, but a lot of fun to be had. So on that note, we're going to call it a night here. Just want to thank you again so much. Thanks for the comments tonight, folks. They were great. Enjoy the game tonight. Should be a battle. Cannot wait for IU Purdue, and enjoy the rest of the sports you have that you're into the rest of the weekend. So Big Mike here signing off on Indy Sports Nation right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Have a great weekend, everybody.